play Milky Night.
Yo, this is Marc from Visionaries and 4 Hero, dropping a little selection for the Cold Cut crew. Peace.
hate this long pop. Hey yo, 6 a.m. in the ATL. NYC seems miles ahead. Like the way Big Ben seen the light before I even rolled out of the bed. Jump on the chat for the toll-free business. Hands on keys like ears to the ground. Holla at my overseas peoples in an instant. Trade food for thoughts, swap words for sounds.
The sounds at the venue checked. Head downtown round 10 p.m. Chow with my friend. I'm late turning up and she's watching the clock, sharing a cup of mint tea at this Persian spot. Says the old hair's gone since she learned a lot. When a temporary lover made a permanent mum. Now works a sex line to earn some crust. Mid-conversation, midnight, I gotta run, it's time.
Time difference, the difference in time. We're trying to live in these difficult times. UK to US, LS to NY, Testament, J Live, and things look different in time. Time difference, the difference in time. We're trying to live in these difficult times. UK to US, LS to NY, Testament, J Live, and things look different.
First hand on 3, we through second hand smoke, new Bohemia's closed. So I catch a cab home, couldn't properly chat with my pal at the show. Apologetic text message tapped into my phone. He's a stand-up bloke, b-boyed when we were younger, became a policeman in his London borough. See, I thank God for the seasons that we living with, getting through mean times like the Greenwich Meridian.
DJ in Greenwich Village, today's mission. Grab a camera, full of landscapes and friends. And I can't miss a moment, cause you never know when my whole musical journey might come to an end. Check the value of $1 and it don't make sense. So I'm trying to make a pound out of 15 pence. And I don't get gas like Cypher sounds. Contemplating how the modern day Cypher sounds. Time difference, the difference in time. We're trying to live in these difficult times. UK to US, LS to NY, Testament, J Live, and things look different in time. Time difference, the difference in time. We're trying to live in these difficult times. UK to US, LS to NY, Testament, J Live, and things look different. To 6, then I get to LaGuardia 2 days before I need JFK. Almost missed my flight with a close air counter from the Bible Belt C. Cyphers here in the A. And it ain't no different in the Empire State. You know, from 41 to 50, the shots hardly miss me. At 8 o'clock, I reach Harlem according to plan. 10 o'clock, I start the party with the Element Jam.
Jam on toast, 10 o'clock, I think maybe I've changed. Raised the game and moved on? Well, then again, maybe I ain't. The time zones of life jet lag me now. Been undergrad, unemployed, now I'm underground. I understand this, freedom means sacrifice.
That's it.
Jump online, okay. Contact J Live. Leave the house, say a prayer, grab my plane ticket, and hear the sound of children playing in the distance.
Yeah, time difference, the difference in time. We're trying to live in these difficult times. UK to US, LS to NY, Testament, J Live, and things look different in time. Time difference, the difference in time. We're trying to live in these difficult times. UK to US, LS to NY, Testament, J Live, and things look different in time. Yeah.
This is Marc from Visionaries and Four Hero, dropping a little selection for the Cold Cut crew. Peace.
You know me, you love me, 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 you know me. Winter never felt so good until you came into my life. Can't you feel the healing from the chilling rain in my life? You know me, you love me, 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 you know me, you love me.
combination. They do work. Now, don't you? It's in there, isn't it? Talk if you can.
Yes.
Cold cut. Cold cut. Cold cut. Cold cut.
Oh
So here we are on Solid Steel, and it's our great pleasure to have in the studio today Andrew Phillips and Marcus O'Dare from Grasscut. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
Perhaps we can introduce ourselves each.
Hello, I'm Andrew from Grasscut.
And I am Marcus, also from Grasscut.
Marvellous. We like to be formal here. And you're here to tell us about various different things. You've got a new album, some exciting live shows in the summer. So we start with some of the influences, and poetry seems to come to mind quite a bit in interviews that I've read that you've been involved in and in the bio and what have you. So tell us about the relationship between the poetry, the music, the film as well, which is another thing that you've also got.
Yeah, we both did English at college, and I think that's kind of extended its tentacles into our sort of lives after that. And I remember being given a vinyl recording of T.S. Eliot reading The Wasteland when I was a kid. I was about 14. And I don't know, it just really stuck with me. And later on, partly through doing music for TV and film, just working a lot with voices, speaking over music. And I think it just sort of got under my skin, that idea of making spoken voices sing, or trying to in some way.
Absolutely, I get that, totally.
You know, if you repeat something long enough, you start to hear the music in a piece of speech.
Yes, yeah, and cut it up and change the tempos and timings. Yeah, I was given Sparky's Magic Piano.
Right.
And I used to remember going to my granddad's house with his old wind-up record player and messing about with it, playing it at the wrong speeds and crudiform scratching probably. So
I think that's the thing. I think it's because if you used older technology like early samplers or even just cassettes or whatever you had, because it was difficult.
Yeah.
There's a sort of hard-won magic about getting it to work, whereas maybe, I don't know, now it's sort of easy to lay those things together, but not easy to make them work.
No, and it's what you do with it rather than how well it's done more often, not in my opinion. You know, that's an important thing. I can hear that in what you're doing. And explain some of the musical things that are going on in the album.
Well, on this album, the first album was, in a way, a bit more diverse stylistically. It changed. It's quite angular. It changed direction quite a lot. And on this one, it wasn't really deliberate, but the pieces came out more as song form, really, or just little narratives, 3 or 4 minute narratives. So that sort of, I don't know, a lot of strings seem to feel right for it. Just a sort of more sort of sea-like. Less angles and more swells, if you like.
Plenty of rosin as well.
Plenty of rosin, yeah. And Marcus is a double bass player, and so double bass was always part of our sound, from the start. And we've just added a violin and viola to the live band, so we've got this sort of 3-part string harmony thing going on. And I just found myself singing more in the sort of writing process this time. It felt slightly perhaps less studio bound than the first one, partly because we played live for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Found out what worked, and singing seemed to be part of that connection with the audience. And we just got these stories together based roughly 10 different places around the country, and those just felt like the right components to tell those stories and just create some sort of try to sort of immerse people in it, try to get a listening experience that really sort of semi-hypnotises you. Really just seemed to be the way we wanted to go with it, the way it all seemed to hang together.
Yeah, because your first album, Inch Half Mile, that had plenty of different stories. It had the walk, didn't it?
It did, yeah.
Explain that just briefly. I know we're jumping about a bit here, but
no, it's part of the same idea. 1 inch to half a mile was named after a map scale, and the album came with a walk, which was around the lost village of Bullsdean, which is just outside Brighton. And basically this village was totally disappeared. I mean, there was nothing there apart from this plaque, which you have to search to find. And it got bombed by the British forces during World War II for target practice. And apparently there's a tank still underground there, which is invisible. Really? Yeah. Anyway, so the first album came with a walk around there and a hidden artifact waiting as a prize for anyone to find, and there were audio clues that you could use to find it. And the idea is continued in the new album, which is called Unearth, because instead of just being in Sussex, it's spread all around England and one in Wales. So every track on the album, there's also a shadow version, a sort of our version of a dub plate of each track, and we've recorded them on cassettes put them inside Walkmans, and they're hidden in a specific location all around the country, and you find them via GPS coordinates, which are on the album artwork, and there's also video clues for each one, like a little 30-second video clip that shows you where it is.
Just wonderful. I have to hand it to you.
Absurd. Either wonderful or absurd.
We sort of, because when we did the map, it sounds really weird now, but we never really thought that's quite an odd thing to do. But we just found people kind of wanted to play. They wanted to get involved. And we just had no idea whether everyone would just think this is ludicrous.
No, I totally get it. I vaguely remember from way back in the day a guy, I think it was called Kit Williams, who had this golden hair. And I did actually go and have a look at the exhibition. He was a painter, wasn't he?
Masquerade, that's cool.
I think so, yeah. And it just, it went right off on one. There's that thematic idea is there, but it's just such a wonderful thing. It catches the attention, especially when it hooks a whole load of different things together.
The idea was that obviously music is now one click away, and this was a way that actually made people have to make a bit more effort. Obviously the album is still there if they want it, but if you want something extra, then hopefully you put in the extra effort and you get something more out of it. But it's meant to be more than a gimmick, as these songs are rooted in their respective places. So as an example, there's a tune that is based on a poem that Philip Larkin wrote, and the cassette that is relates to that tune is hidden in just outside Hull, where he was a librarian, in this place called Spurn Head, which is one of his favourite haunts, and at the base of a lighthouse in a bush there, if you want, you can hear our shadow version of Cut Grass. So, and each place is not just chosen arbitrarily, but they're deliberately for that very place.
When you were alone in the hotel, who were you?
The frost on the grass has melted, cloud shadows over the wall. Not like it says in the papers, not like he told them at all. Safe in the comfort of frailty, she sits in a station hall. Headlines of her disappearance, she walks with her eyes to the floor. And as the train and spits, she writes her name on everybody's lips.
Brilliant. No, that is an astounding amount of work, and an exciting thing for people to get into, I think. So it'll be interesting to see what reaction you get to it.
We've had some nice reactions from people who've... somebody actually got in touch today and listened to one that's in Abley Park Cemetery near the Stone Lion, and was thrilled. And somebody else took one of the boxes away for a week, and I thought he'd nicked it but put it back quite close to where I live. So people are doing their own thing with it, which is really nice.
That's
they can just interact how they want.
And so if people want to find out more details of this, is there a website that they can check out?
Grasscutmusic.com is the site, and if you go to the Unearth page, it's a very simple website, but there's a page for Unearth, and it's got all the... If you click on any of the tracks, it will take you to the GPS and the map for each track.
You guys have done the walk yourselves, obviously.
Yeah, we went around the country sort of stashing these cassettes, trying not to get arrested.
Yeah, it felt like
in the year of the Olympics, stashing little boxes in dodgy places was a bit challenging.
Not
no, not really, especially in London.
And did you film any of this when you were doing it, or is it?
We did.
You have.
We filmed all of it, and these little 30-second sort of, where we put the box videos are all on our YouTube channel.
Brilliant. So there's loads of clues.
Loads, because if you go there, you'll find it. It's not like a real,
It sounds like a really good day out. You should do some picnic recipes as well, maybe.
Good idea. Scotch eggs.
Yeah.
Through the fields we came to the edge of the land, the golden flame, the sunset. Seriously, I felt the day's work upon me. On the downs we stood by the light of a fire, we watched as the moon rose. We stared in the face of the evening sun and we saw it all through. We did all we could have done. From towns and fields the silver sea, above the silver sea. I feel the day take me. I feel the day take me.
So tell us some more about the music. That's the philosophy behind it and some of the inspiration. So we've talked a bit about the fact that you've added strings and some more dimensions, and the music has definitely progressed for me from the first album to this album. And so now you're about to start doing some live shows?
Yeah, we've done two. We've done one festival and a launch with our new 5-piece band, which is live drums and, as I mentioned before, violin and viola, and they also sing, so we've got some 3-part harmony going on. So we're trying to, when we started, we were just a duo, and that was great, but I think the material's just moved away from what we can really do. It's very hard for us to create the dynamics and the intimacy that I think we'd want and the kind of textures we want just with two of us. And I think it's important that we're both musicians. I mean, I'm a producer, but Marcus is a really good keyboard player and double bass player, and I sing and play guitar. So we wanted to sort of explore that side of it as well as the more kind of traditional sort of electronic side of it, if you like.
So, visual things, because obviously the Cold Cut, we come with an interest in visuals, and you have a root in it.
Yeah.
And so, with this show, is there going to be a visual side to it, or is that?
There is. When we were out on the road stashing boxes, and we took a friend who's sort of an art director and designer and a photographer with us, and our photographer Will took a shot. He's using a pinhole camera.
Brilliant.
So nowhere to hide, no laptops, just a pinhole camera. Did a shot in each of the 10 places where the tracks were based. And Pedder did very fixed camera video, because on the first album we had very glitchy, very fast moving, synced, highly sort of constructive video, which is fantastic. But with this one we just wanted to go really still and just, there is movement, but only the movement that you'd see if you just kept your head still. And they're just long dissolves, so it's almost the opposite effect energy-wise.
Right.
And really it's like a sort of moving canvas, if you like, that we're going to play in front of. So it has a really for me, an interesting relationship to the music, because it sort of makes you slow down.
Yes.
And sort of go inside it, hopefully. That's kind of the idea.
When we started off as a duo, we got the opportunity to open the Big Chill main stage, and we looked at each other and went, that's brilliant, but we're two bespectacled gentlemen with laptops and that's it. I was playing double bass and stuff, but we basically just felt we would have been rabbit in the headlights, just the two of us. So how are we going to fill the stage? So that we thought, and that then we put together very quickly with a brilliant company called As Described, these very, very hectic visuals, and it, I think it worked just about. But now we've got this more of a live experience we thought that we could get away with a more relaxed visuals. But the visuals are really important. Andrew has, when he's not cutting grass, is doing documentary soundtracks, basically. So it makes sense to keep it as an audio-visual experience. But hopefully, I think the weight probably shifted a bit more to the music. But there's some fantastic, and the visuals as well, for each track that we're playing live relates to the place where we've stashed that tape. So it's all sort of thematically coherent as it would be from two people who are going to do something as ridiculously time consuming as taking 4 people around England and Wales on a 4-day road trip just to hide 10 cassettes.
That's my kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah, it was such fun. I'd love to do it again.
Just keep moving at pieces.
So I wanted to get some records flipping completely off in another direction now, but I think it's always interesting for people who are listening to artists being interviewed, some influences. So I just, what I want is one record that you couldn't live without from each of you.
Well, there's a few, but I am going to choose Nothing Can Stop Us, which is a collection of Robert Wyatt singles which he put out on Rough Trade. The reason I've chosen that out rather than anything else is because it's one of my favourite records. It chimes with this because Robert Wyatt sings and plays cornet and piano on the last track, and I'm writing a book about Robert Wyatt at the moment as well, so I've listened to that a hell of a lot of times recently.
That makes perfect sense.
Is it worth it? A new winter coat and shoes for the wife, and a bicycle on the boy's birthday. It's just a rumour that was spread around town by the women and children. Soon we'll be shipbuilding. Well, I ask you, the boy said that they're going to take me to task, but I'll be back by Christmas. It's just a rumour that was spread around town. Somebody said that someone got filled in for saying that people get killed in the result of the shipbuilding.
So, we need you now with your records on the spot, sir.
It's really tough. I'm going to choose a Joy Division track. I'm going to choose Atmosphere by Joy Division.
Brilliant.
Because I just think it's a brilliant song, but what I love about it is that it's a real ensemble piece. It's a proper band with a brilliant producer, and it's a moment that can only have been done then. I think it's what everybody making records wants to do, is have that perfect little, artifact of that time.
Inside. Rebuilding.
we have a very clear way of how we do Grasscut, which is, Andrew is the compositional brain, and I do obviously the live show is both of us, and we both play on the records, but Andrew's playing 1,000 instruments on the record, all the things that are around the walls of his studio, and apart from occasionally doing some kind of strange drumming thing or something.
I would call it drumming.
Playing a drumstick and a cymbal and a bow in a strange way. I'm just playing piano and double bass, and so I end up doing the other side of the more management side of things, because we have when we came up with the idea of how we would do it, it came out of being in other bands and doing other things, and the idea was that basically it would be the most self-contained unit that we could come up with, so that within the two of us, not only would we be able to go and do the shows, but also we would be able to do all the writing and all management and everything within the duo, which kind of worked for the first record as far as it could go, but obviously, as we've been saying, we've ended up getting other people in, because I don't know how it's been with Cold Cut, but because we're trying to do songs and there's some element of live, we found it very... We started to get frustrated we felt like we were doing as much as we could as a duo, but I don't know if...
You've done a lot of stuff with big ensembles, haven't
we've
you?
done it all sorts. I do love doing it with people. We did the Sound Mirrors tour with Raj Panu, who's scratching audio-visual tracks, and with Juice, Salim, and we had guests from the album turn up at various occasions. And it was an amazing thing to do. It was actually quite stressful on occasions.
Musically too, you're taking more risks, so there's more things that can go wrong. But that's why it's exciting. I mean, that's precisely why when it goes well, that's why it's good. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for being with us today here on Solid Steel. And we'll play out with one track from the album that... from each of you again, so I'm putting you on the spot. So from Andrew, your favourite track?
I think you should play out with We Fold Ourselves. It would be my bet. The reason for that is just that when we played it live, we have been ending the show with it, and I love it on the record, but I think it's even better live. And so yeah, I'll go for that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
rides a silent meteor on. And leaves a shining foe